So for this question, they're giving us a regression equation, and they're also telling us that r squared equals this value, which is pretty low, by the way, but that's okay. So how do we know what the correlation is when they just give me this information? So here's what you got to think about. The correlation coefficient and the slope of your equation will have the same sign. So if it's a positive association, positive correlation, then it'll have this positive slope. Okay, if it's a negative association, a negative slope, you'll have the correlation will be negative. So they're telling us the r squared in decimal form. So if I want to find out what r is, I'm just going to take the square root of that number. So let me go to a pointer so I can come to my calculator, click on. So on this calculator, I'm do second square root. Many other calculators are different, have different button combinations. I'm going to show you a couple of ways right now. So I'm going to take the square root of that value. Now, if I also want to take the square root of it another way, I can type it in. And if you think back to some of your algebra, you can raise it to the 0.5 power. In fact, I'll often do this. Notice the same answer. Okay. Now, how do I know whether I want to do the positive or the negative? Because if you think about it, if I do, let's go back to something easier. If I do -3 squared, that's going to be +9, and so isn't +3 squared. So how do I know when I take a square root of 9 whether I want a negative or a positive? In this case, and because this is in a context situation, since I have a positive association, I know this is a positive association because my slope is positive, I'm going to use the positive value. If this is a negative association because the slope is negative, I'm going to use the negative value. Some of you will see that on the exam for this or on quizzes. Some of you are going to get a negative value and you're going to have to know, oh, it's a negative slope. I got to use a negative correlation. Okay, so to get this answer right, I'm going to type in 0.06 and let's submit it and see if I get it right. And I did. Okay, so hope that helps you get this straight.